Hello friends, welcome to Tech on Target. Today we are going to learn about Kubernetes architecture, how Kubernetes architecture work and what are its basic component, how we can communicate to Kubernetes, and what is master plane, what is worker node, or we are going to see that. If you are already watching my channel, you have seen that all my videos on Kubernetes are in Hindi language, and for my today video, I'm going to show this in English language, so that audience who understand only English language can relate to us and get benefit from our videos. So let's start. So I divide this small diagram in two parts. One part is for our master plane, and second part is for our worker node. One thing I should add here, for master plane, when we are working on on-prem system, we should have to take care about where should we place our component like control manager, etc. But in when we are in cloud, like we are choosing the cloud hosted AKS via Azure or AKS via AWS, same other cloud also providing the like Google also providing. But for that we don't have to much care about the master plane. Master plane, all responsibility will be taken care via cloud only. We just have to take care of the rest of the thing, our application only. But if you are going to on your on-prem system, it will you will need a more team to manage the things. So let's start. First part I cut down for the master plane. In the master plane, first part is the control manager. Control manager is the core component of the control plane, which takes the routing decision and other things. But when we hit the Kubernetes API, like we are doing the kubectl get nodes, where we hit the API server. API server is the only component which can talk to any component of the Kubernetes. And while we are doing communication, we forward our request to API server only. When API server we give our request to API server, it will forward it to control manager, and then we have control manager which will communicate with the API server only. And if we are going to appoint some resources, then request will forward it to the Kube Scheduler, and Kube Scheduler will check at which worker node resources are available, and compare the resources which there is a one small worker node, there is one larger worker node, and it will schedule on the larger worker node. And once it takes the decision, API server will write it on etcd. Etcd is act as the database where all the configuration, everything is get stored in the etcd, and it writes on the etcd, and then it will create pod, and after creating pod, it's again write to etcd that this task is done. So whatever you are doing, you can see that API server is at the middle for the communication. Nobody can talk to etcd directly. To make our Kubernetes highly available, like main power is our configuration. If something gone disaster happen, and for in case of clouds are providing the highly availability assurance for 99 point availability of the master. But which can cap the etcd configuration to make our system highly available. And it is admin or maybe some user, some your NOC team, the different permission you can give, like admin have full access, some user have only view access, and NOC team only just have limited access to some services, don't have access to create service count, cluster role, etc. And that's complete our master plan. And at other end we are taking example of two worker node, and worker node uh, will have two major component, kubeproxy and kubelet. What is the task here for kubeproxy and kubelet is, kubeproxy is taking care of the all network related concepts like assigning IPs and make your ports communicate to other request, and kubelet to manage the pod under container. Whole management will be taken care by kubelet only. So once your system is done and you run you or your team is running the Kubernetes command, your service, your application will be created in a container which will be comes under the pod. In one pod we can have one container or we can have more than one container, but it keep as a good practice to make create one container per pod, because containers are highly coupled with each other. If for example you have two containers, if one container go down and other is working, it is not like that your one container will be created, whole a new pod will be created where you will see it will create two new container, and via creating these new containers, when this new container, the old pod will be get deleted. So most of the cases we create one container one container per pod. In some special cases only where we have some specific requirement where we use the two container or as per our use case. So kubeproxy, kubelet, when we have to send our request to create pod, to do some changes, API server is the first person with which we will talk, and it also it is the communicating to internal components of the master plane and component of the worker node plane. So here most of the picture is getting clear here, like we have read about the master plane and we have read about the control plane, and in the next video we will look out for some other concepts. So till then, goodbye and thanks. Please subscribe.